Hi, I'm Stewart Mader, and this is 21 Days of Wiki Adoption. Today's topic, request procedure and retention policy. Having a formalized request procedure for your wiki is a great way to manage growth and keep track of your space needs. What I advise organizations to do is create a formalized request procedure. A web form is a great way to do it, whereby people requesting spaces give you some basic information. The name, email, and perhaps phone number, just some basic contact information for a person who's responsible for the new wiki space. The name and general use of the space, and whether it's needed for permanent use like a department, team, or major project, or whether it's needed for an ad hoc use. Once you have that information, it makes it easy to then have a retention policy whereby for permanent projects, you ask people a year after creation of the space whether they still need it and whether they're actively using it. Just send out an email. This is something you can do as an automated process. Send out an email and ask people, do you still need this space? Is it actively being used? And if they write back and say yes, then it stays up and active for another year. If they write back and say no, we're done with it, then you can archive the space and move the data off of the active wiki, but keep it ready in case they should need it in the future. If they don't reply after that initial email, give it a week or so, and then send out a follow-up email and check again with them. If you don't hear from them, then it's probably safe to say you can archive that space. If you do, and they write back and say they still need it, then obviously it stays up and active. That's for permanent spaces. For ad hoc spaces, if people have told you in that request form that they need the space for, say, 2 months or 3 months or a fiscal quarter, then you know that at that shorter period of time you can send out that same request and see if they still need the space. In some cases, their project may be done and the space can be archived. Otherwise, they may say, well, we need an extension, we'll need this for another few months or maybe even another year, depending on things. But the bottom line is, having a formalized request process, it reduces you having a deluge of emails in your inbox asking for spaces. It gets people to a formalized process of asking for a wiki space and identifying their needs for a wiki space. It helps you plan for capacity, both in the amount of server capacity to handle a load of users on your wiki and storage capacity to handle data for those spaces. And then it enables you, on the other side, to have a good retention policy, whereby you're keeping the majority of the data and spaces on your wiki active and actively used, and you're taking the material that's no longer in active use and archiving it. It's a good way to prune your wiki and keep it in good shape.